What is going on, everybody? It's Hector Martinez once again for Urban Kung Fu. And as you can tell, I've been out of the barbershop for quite a while, but it's actually getting cold outside. So decided to bust out a beard and getting ready for this extremely cold winter that's currently approaching us. So I was checking the news the other day, and they said that we're actually 10 degrees colder than normal. So that's a sign that we're going to have one heck of a winter. So getting ready with my Santa Claus beard. Well, guys, today decided to create another video for your entertainment and as well as my entertainment and my pleasure. I enjoy sharing my acquisitions with everyone out there and all those that are still interested in Bruce Lee and interested in collecting. And there's a point where you start your collection, and naturally there's a point where it ends. Where it ends for us, we do not know. For some, it has already gotten there. Others are thinking of stopping their collections, and others have slowed down a little bit, like myself. But still, for my appreciation and admiration for Bruce Lee, I still continue doing this because it brings me fun, keeps me connected with my friends out there, and still something to look forward to after a long day of work. So, but today is a very, very special episode, and it's a very unique episode as well. Because I'm going to have to admit to you and to all my fellow collectors out there that I made a decision that I am not going to review Steve Kerridge's The Making of the Big Boss book. I refuse to review it. And I have my reasons why. But in the meantime, I want to share with you some other acquisitions that I have. Some of these I've had for quite a while, and they pertain to The Big Boss, which was, of course, Bruce Lee's very first major film for Golden Harvest back in 1971. And, I remember my first taste of Bruce Lee's magic was back in 1967 or 66 or 67 during his Green Hornet years. I remember I used to be a big fan of the George Reeves Superman, and then, of course, the Adam West, Burt Ward, Batman and Robin. And then later came the Green Hornet and Kato, starring the late Van Williams and the late and great Bruce Lee. I knew that there was something special about that little guy dressed in black, but little did I know that I'd still be collecting him till now, till 2023. So it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a ride. It's been quite a trip. And but I remember seeing Bruce Lee back in 66 and 67. And then again, I saw him in Ironside. I remember the kids around the block, the older kids, were making a big fuss about Kato appearing in another series called Ironside, starring Raymond Burr. And that was also in the late 60s. So got to see Bruce Lee there. And then I saw him in Marlowe. I actually got to see him in Marlowe, starring James Garner and Rita Moreno, and Carol O'Connor. That was from 1969. I was about 10 years old, and again I had older friends, so we would always be informed when Bruce Lee would make an appearance. So got to see him, in Marlowe, and but the series that I started noticing Bruce Lee's star rising was in 1971. And that was during the Longstreet TV series, which only lasted a season. It was only 26 episodes. And that starred James Franciscus. I remember Bruce Lee being in 4 episodes. The first one, the pilot episode, which was the Way of the Intercepting Fist. I See, Said the Blind Man, Wednesday's Child, and also Spell Legacy Like Death. He was in all those 4 episodes. So when he started, the first one, The Way of the Intercepting Fist, later after that, he went out there to Bangkok, Thailand, and he started filming The Big Boss. So he came back and he did a few other episodes for Longstreet, the remaining 3, part of the contract. And then after that, Bruce Lee just went full speed ahead with Golden Harvest and started putting out a film a year, basically 71, 72, 73, more like a film and a half or 2 films a year. And but The Big Boss was the movie that introduced me personally to that superstar Bruce Lee, the one on the big screen. And I remember I went to see, I believe it was Lady Kung Fu, starring Angela Mao Ying, who is the queen of Kung Fu. And during the release of that film, we were treated to the trailer to Fists of Fury, which was the American title for The Big Boss here in the U.S. And I remember when I saw Bruce Lee in the trailer, I was like, wow. I was mesmerized because Bruce Lee his look was very, how can I say, it was exotic. It was a very distinguished type of look. There was something special about Bruce Lee. Well, naturally, later on, we found out that Bruce wasn't 100% Chinese, which, of course, it's got nothing to do with that. I'm just saying that Bruce Lee was mixed. He had a little, I believe he was a little Jewish. There were rumors that he was German, but then at the end, Matthew Polly said in his book that Bruce Lee actually had some Jewish blood in him. So that made for that very exotic, chiseled look that Bruce Lee had. Very, very handsome, very captivating. And I remember Bruce Lee on the big screen during the trailer, Fists of Fury. And then I saw the name. It was rare back in the days, back in 1973. I was 12 years old in 1973. So back in the days, I mean, it was odd to see an American name with a Chinese name. So when I saw Bruce Lee, it was very different. It just, it was interesting and captivating. So Bruce Lee was at the right place and at the right time. He certainly had that exotic, distinguished movie star idol look. And then he had a very unique name, Bruce Lee. It was bound to be a household name, and eventually that's what it became. So, but getting back to The Big Boss was such a dynamite movie. And I have a friend of mine, his name is Louis Guzman. My apologies, Louis. And he's a huge fan of Bruce Lee, but his favorite film has always been The Big Boss. He loves Enter the Dragon, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, Game of Death. But Big Boss, and I believe it's because of, it's got sentimental value because it was the first time for us to see Bruce Lee on the big screen. So I think it's a combination of how great the movie is and also sentimental value. And I enjoyed The Big Boss as well. But getting back to Steve Kerridge's book, I'm going to have to admit, and I'm going to be straightforward. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be as transparent as I can be. I am not going to review the making of The Big Boss book. There's other people out there on YouTube that have reviewed it, and but you are looking at one of the few, or probably the only one, that is refusing to review that book. But before I tell you why, let me share these acquisitions with you. Okay, fellow Bruce Lee fans, I'm back. And as promised, I'm going to remain transparent and I'm going to remain direct and sincere. And ladies and gentlemen, I repeat, I am not going to review Steve Kerridge's Making of the Big Boss book. Because if you want to see those reviews, all you got to do is go on YouTube and there's plenty of them there. But as far as I'm concerned, it's not me. I am not going to review Steve Kerridge's The Making of the Big Boss book. And the reason for that is Steve Kerridge's book is a masterpiece. And it's one of the finest Bruce Lee books that I have ever seen or have in my collection. And this book here, being that it's limited to only 100 pressings, I have decided to keep them both sealed, never to be opened, only to be preserved and appreciated as treasures. Now, I know it takes a lot of self-control not to open these books up. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm so glad that I've got Charles Damiano, that whenever I want to see this book, all I got to do is go to his home and I can look through it. And also, I told Steve personally, I said, Steve, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I am not going to read your book. I'm going to keep them sealed. And it's a collector thing. Only 100 pressings. Most of them have been unsealed. They're opened. But these two boys right here, they're going to remain nice and sealed and tucked away until one morning I decide to wake up and open them up. So, but you know what? Steve was such a great and fine individual that he actually sent me personally the PDF file to this book. He told me, Hector, you have to read it. You have to sit down and read this book. And I said, Steve, listen, I'm not going to open these up. You know, these are going to remain like this. So I'm going to miss out on your exquisite writing and research. But it's a collector thing. You know, that's the way that I am. And he says, well, I'm going to send you the PDF file so you can sit down and enjoy the book. So finally, I do have it, and I am grateful. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, Hector Martinez, you know, these books keep on getting better and better. You know, I have Mandarin Superstar, which is another fine piece of art. I also have the Intercepting Fist in hardcover as well as soft. Another great publication. But The Making of the Big Boss, this right here is, you know, this is a gem. It's a treasure. And it's something that I am going to take great pride and pleasure in preserving, sealed the way it was issued. Once again, Hector Martinez for Urban Kung Fu. You guys take care. Peace and God bless.